Then the Persians came to take the Israelites and made us slaves again. Ezra, the book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 9. For we were bondmen, yet our God hath not forsaken us in our bondage, but hath extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia. So we then came back from the Persian captivity, went back to the land of Israel, rebuilt the temple up. Then here comes the Greeks to get a piece of the slavery. Here come the Greeks. Like we were going through constant slavery. It's in the Bible. Benefits to make us slaves again. So you see, slavery was continuous. So you see, slavery was continuous for our ancestors and still to this day. First Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 18. And to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude. So after we depart from the Greek captivity, we went back into the land of Israel, rebuilt the temple again, because the Greeks were sacrificing swine and pig on the altars to their god, which is Baal. Then right after that was complete of rebuilding the temple, then here comes the infamous Romans, which was the time of our Savior Christ was amongst the earth. And then the Romans made us slaves. Our ancestors was going through so much slavery that Jeremiah had to ask our father, was Israel put on earth just to be slaves? Like, were we your chosen people just to go through this? Is that our purpose and the purpose of our Father? Just to be servitude to other nations? Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel servitude? Is he a home-born slave? Why is he spoiled? So now to think about this. If the so-called Negroes was part of the biblical 12 tribes of Israel, then how did we get to the west coast of Africa? I notice what you're thinking there. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation therefore is nigh. That was Christ speaking to the Israelites. He was saying, when you see Jerusalem compassed or surrounded by the Roman armies, then know that the destruction and desolation of the land of Israel is near and ready to happen. Them more words from Christ, our Savior. Them words directly from our Father. Luke chapter 21, verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst thereof depart out. Christ was saying basically, when you see the Romans coming in, get ready to flee into the mountains. He was giving that warning. And the mountains Christ was talking about was the land of Africa. It's the land of Africa. It's the same exact place where Joseph and Mary took Jesus. It's the same exact place where Joseph and Mary took Jesus to flee from Herod. You remember? When he was trying to find Jesus to kill him as a baby. It's in the Bible. Are y'all with me? They fled straight into the land of Africa. And also the Israelites fled into Africa to escape the ancient Romans. Dr. Rudolph R. Windsor stated, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that 1 million Jews fled into the land of Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. So you see where I'm getting at. But I'm going to continue. Over 1 million Israelites fled from persecution into the land of Africa from the land of Israel, running away from the Romans because the Romans was coming to slew the Israelites and bound them in slavery. And the one who didn't listen and take heed to the true prophecy of Jesus Christ when he warned them to leave and go to the mountains and go to Africa, but they stayed. When those got caught by the Romans, they was taken back to Europe and sold in slavery and servitude. The Europeans. Then they was forced to be gladiators, put into lions' dens. Y'all remember the movie Gladiator? Remember all these old ancient movies about the Romans having them was our people. It wasn't their own kind. There was us. Dr. Rudolph R. Winster stated, the pagan and the Romans attacked the Jews, both Jewish soldiers and the involved peaceful population, without mercy. As a result of this merciless act, many Jews fled to those parts of northwest Africa known as Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and the Mauritania region. Many other Jews fled to areas where Rome did not have any jurisdiction. This was to the region of the south, the Sahara Desert, and the Sudan. Grasso says, such is this explanation of how the Sahara Desert first acquired Jewish tribes toughened by a fighting tradition and possessed of physical characteristics. The blacks. Us, the blacks. This is all proof. Which it is said still make them approximate very closely the original Jewish population of the Palestine. So after leaving Israel and dwelling on the northwest regions of Africa, after fighting vigorously with the Romans, our ancestors had no choice but to start migrating to the southern regions of Africa, because the Romans had no jurisdiction in those regions. And the Roman was relentless. They was determined to capture, slave, and put all Israelites to death. Our ancestors, not African Americans, our ancestors. African American was a name they gave us, the brainwashing. You know what's going on, but stay with me. So in order for our ancestors to get any peace, which are the ancient Israelites, they had to flee to sub-Saharan African region. Look, I tell you, the scholars, the elites, the high-class white people, the biblical experts know all this is true. They know all this is facts. They know this. But they hide it from us. They know all the true history of the ancient Israelites, the genealogies, and the true history of the so-called Negroes of African Americans. Dr. Joseph J. Williams stated,